What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm just loving what's going on in politics right now. I just want to start off with that. I am loving everything that's going on right now. The left is seething. It's so enjoyable to watch these people seethe. They're having complete meltdowns over Trump's nominations for all his cabinet picks and all that stuff. Like, I've collected a couple of headlines for you guys to enjoy right fast. Check this out. Look, this is the headline from The Atlantic. All of these are from The Atlantic, as a matter of fact. This is just one left-wing activist organization that is masquerading as a news organization. This is just one, so you can get an idea of what other ones are actually saying. Check this out right quick. A constitutional crisis greater than Watergate. This is over Kash Patel being nominated to the FBI. Get this. Donald Trump's most dangerous cabinet pick. This is Pete Hegseth. Most dangerous cabinet pick, right? A Fox News host, a veteran, for crying out loud. Dangerous. Okay. What else do we have? Why the Gates announcement is already destroying the government. These people are just over here rolling around on the ground in their own feces, it seems like. I don't know exactly what the hell they think they're doing, but they're seething. Like, it's turned up to 11, and then from there it's turned up to 11 again. It just seems like these people are just having complete meltdowns, going insane and having a meltdown, and going into a coma all at the same time. Exactly. I don't know how that's even possible, but that's exactly what they're doing. But what we're talking about today is something even greater than that, and this one has kind of gone under the radar a little bit. Check this out, y'all. Trump FCC nominee Brendan Carr, which we already talked about this guy, smashing the censorship cartel is a top priority. So he came out on Fox News and did an interview. And that's what we're going to cover today, because we're talking about censorship coming from the federal government, censorship in social media, and just censorship in general. And there's a lot to break down here because, you know, you hear a lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives, blah, 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 libertarians. They all talk about, oh, we don't want censorship. We don't want censorship. Well, that's not necessarily my position, right? Now, I understand when they say censorship, they mean a certain thing, right? You can't just blanket say, oh, we want to eliminate all censorship. Well, you can't really do that because, you know, you take places like YouTube, for instance, right? Where you have minors roaming around this place all over the dang place, right? You don't want, like, adult content just coming up in your child's feed, for goodness sakes, right? We don't want that. So we do need some level of censorship. You don't want, you know, videos of terrorists doing their thing. You don't want videos like that popping up for your children, blah, blah, blah. You get it, you know. So censorship in some form or fashion is a good thing, right? Like school libraries. That's been a big one. We, you know, come to find out, we were finding adult books in school libraries, like elementary and middle schools. Like, no, we can't be having this. So when you just blanket say, oh, we want to eliminate censorship, yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing whatsoever. And, you know, these days, you've got, like, people that, you know, they want to make money online, on social media, on YouTube, blah, 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 whatnot. You know, well, you got to follow certain guidelines, right? You can't say certain things. You know, you got controversial topics, blah, blah, blah. You get it. You're not supposed to talk about these things, or at least, you know, be PG with whatever your content may be, because certain advertisers don't want to advertise next to war or next to some controversial topic that they can be aligned with because of your video. So they're very careful. And, you know, I'm okay with that as well. You know, I totally get that. I see what's going on with that. Sometimes it's taken a little bit too far, but when you have the president of the freaking United States going to social media platforms, having backdoor access, in other words, not the president himself, but his administration and officials in the federal government, having backdoor access, going to social media and silencing voices online over, you know, political speech, whatever speech, blah, 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 whatever. And they say they're fighting mis and disinformation. Well, you know what? That's where we're starting to get into some blurred lines of censorship here, because, yeah, if you're putting out, if you go on X or something and you put out your opinion about whatever, that's an opinion. It can't be mis or disinformation at that point, because it's opinionated. your opinions, they might be wrong, but it's not mis or disinformation, right? The factuality of the substance of whatever you're saying, that could be wrong. But they also have these things called community notes, right? YouTube does this on a lot of videos. You know, you're talking about certain subjects, you can look right below the video and there will be a Wikipedia link of all things. Most of the time it's Wikipedia, which Wikipedia lies as well too. So it's, you know, but that's what they do so you can get the quote unquote correct information, or at least I will say the official narrative from, you know, the government or whatever. But you know, when you have the president, you know, all the federal departments going through and censoring people online, yeah, we can't be having that. But, you know, before I rant on forever, because this is something I could just run my mouth about constantly for a while, talking about censorship and all this other stuff, let's get into this video right quick. President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to lead the FCC, Brendan Carr, said during an interview over the weekend that he was focused on ending censorship on social media. Carr made the remarks during a Sunday interview on Fox News while talking about Trump's transition team. And I'm going to go ahead and run that clip right quick.
What will you do to make sure that the playing field is level and that big tech doesn't have the same grip on speech that it once did?
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, I think President Trump and his transition team is really just knocking it out of the park with these picks. They're putting a broad variety of people that represent President Trump's unique coalition. Washington, D.C. doesn't like it. And I think that means that he's doing exactly right. You know, for me, first thing is get with President Trump and his team and make sure I understand 100% what their agenda is. After all, he's the one that was elected, his cabinet, his administration, to reflect his priorities. But as you noted, combating tech censorship is going to be one of the top priorities for me. You know, we need to restore Americans' right to free speech. And you mentioned Facebook and other companies. They've been part of a censorship cartel that have worked with advertisers, they've worked with government officials to censor the free speech rights of everyday Americans. And that's got to end, because censorship isn't just about stopping words, it's about stopping ideas. America is a country of founders, of people that have pushed boundaries, pushed frontiers, they've innovated. And when you silence speech, you silence ideas. And we need to unleash America's prosperity again. That's why you feel this vibe shifting in the country, where people know President Trump is about to lead another great American comeback, because this wet blanket of government control is going away, and our economy is going to flourish again.
All right, so I totally agree with him on pretty much everything right there, right? We do have a cartel. There's these companies out there that consolidate other businesses to advertise online, and they act like a cartel. There's been several congressional committee hearings on this, and they grill these people, man, and it's bad. And that's something that I was discussing earlier. You got advertisers, they don't want to advertise next to certain content, right? But it's like some of the content, it's not controversial, but it gets labeled as controversial, right? Like, I was denied monetization because of controversial content. And I'm like, I go through all my content and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell are they even talking about here, right? Like, I make it a point not to cuss. I make it a point not to disparage people, you know, for the most part, like specifically, like with falsehoods or anything like that. And, you know, I'm pretty careful about what I say. You know, there's certain words I don't say. I don't use certain words, blah, 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 blah. You get it when I discuss, you know, sensitive topics. I'll use words around other words. It's like blah, blah, blah. You get it. So I don't understand why they would say that, you know, it's harmful content that I put out. I'm just reading the news, as a matter of fact. But, you know, we'll get past all that. I'll break through eventually and I'll be monetized. But, you know, outside of that, you know, that is an issue, though, because, you know, they are running it like a cartel, and he's totally right about that. We can't be having that. But my biggest thing is the federal government, you know, censoring people online. But he had a little bit more to say in a post on X. Let's go ahead and get into that right quick. Check this out, y'all. In a post on X highlighting his interview, Carr said that censorship was un-American. Well, you know, hang on, what are we talking about here? Once again, because like I said earlier, when you're talking about censorship, some censorship is good, right? If you have a platform where there's a bunch of children on it running around, going all over the place, looking at weird stuff, you don't want them looking at adult content, right? So certain censorship is good. I just want to make sure to be totally clear about that most people would agree, right? You don't want, porn or whatever on YouTube, stuff like that. It's like, come on, we do need some censorship, but I think what they're really getting at here is censoring people like me, for instance. Like, right? Because the reason I say that I've been shadow banned is because, when I first started doing this channel specifically, I was starting to rise through the ranks right quick, and I was getting a lot more views than I had subscribers, and I was growing pretty rapidly. And I put out a video that had a clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, saying some stuff about COVID, and it got me in trouble with YouTube. Got me a strike, and I had to go through one of their stupid little classes or whatever. And it was whatever. It was blah. I kind of learned about their platform, but, for the most part, I only got in trouble because I didn't refute what she was saying. If I would have come out and said, look, she's not a doctor, I'm not a doctor, talk to your doctor, blah, 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 everything would have been fine. I wouldn't have got the strike, right? So ever since that point, though, my views have been just in the gutter. It's been like what's going on with this, right? And I'm trying to break out of it. I done started another channel, which I don't know if you guys have noticed. You can go over there and subscribe if you want. I'm pretty much running it as a backup to this one. So if I ever eventually get to the point where I'm like, then I'm going to start making videos and telling everybody, go over there, and I'll put a link in the comment section or in the description, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You get it. But, that's a problem, right? Because I didn't do anything wrong, but yet I'm getting censored into oblivion, essentially, at this point. But, we just want to make sure and get that out of the way, that some censorship is okay, right? But this censorship that has been going on is not okay. Let's keep going, though. America is a country of founders, of trailblazers that push boundaries, of innovators, he said. And that is why America's scrappy entrepreneurs feel so much hope with President Trump. They know that the wet blanket of government control is lifting, and President Trump is going to unleash economic opportunity and a great American comeback, he continued. Smashing the censorship cartel is part and parcel of getting our economy going again. Yes, and I totally agree with all of this, right? Once again, like he's hitting the nail on the head with the hammer, just smashing that thing right on down. And hopefully he comes in and clears some of this up, right? Like, you can't really force social media platforms to change their guidelines, but you can monitor these people. So if they are censoring people for no apparent reason, kind of like me, that maybe we can pressure these social media platforms to change their rules and change their policies a little bit, and let channels like this one grow organically, for crying out loud. Because, it's aggravating the hell out of me at this point. But, there's nothing I can do about it. It's a little bitty old me versus Google, for crying out loud, because Google owns YouTube or whatever. So it's like, what are we going to really do about that? I have no idea. But, eventually I'm going to break out of this shell. Eventually, because I can say I am a lot more persistent than YouTube is. I will just get that out of the way. I've made my mind up. I'm not going anywhere, right? Or else I would have already quit. So honestly, because of the views I get, blah, 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 blah. And I've got some people that watch pretty much every single video I make, and I'm really appreciative of you guys out there. Y'all know who y'all are. And y'all are the ones, honestly, that keep me going. To be honest with you, I am only going because of you guys. I've got a neighbor that also watches every single one of my videos. He doesn't ever comment ever. Like, he's made like maybe 2 comments, but he comes over and we talk every once in a while, and he's like, "You're doing a good job. Keep going. We need more people like you." Blah 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 blah. Whatever. But not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but I just wanted to get that out of the way, because it's you guys, the ones that watch every video and leave comments all the time. Y'all are the ones that keep me going. Even some of the ones that I don't always agree with. Like, well, you know who you are. We've had some major disagreements in the past, but I love you guys. To be honest with you, y'all are great. But, censorship is getting bad, and especially when the federal government is doing it, something needs to change about that. And we're not going to have any of that coming up in this next Trump administration, hopefully. But if we do, hopefully we find out about it, and I will be right here railing against that. Once again, like I said, and I will always say, if Trump gets out of line, which I hope he doesn't, I will be right here railing against it, because I don't like, we don't want a president that goes outside of the bounds of what the American population wants, right? We want him to act on behalf of us. So if he's doing stuff we don't like censoring Americans online, like Joe Biden has been doing this entire time, which is absurd, y'all. We're going to push back. We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it and, get things out of the way or whatever. But, I think that's all I got on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Do you think Brendan Carr is going to actually, take the shackles off of censorship that is going on social media? X is pretty good right now. There is censorship, of course, but X is doing pretty good. Now we need to get Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all these places cleared up a little bit better. If YouTube was more like Rumble would not exist, right? And that's straight up. Rumble would not exist if you could just do and say anything you want on YouTube, right? To a certain extent, of course. There's always that extent. You don't want, like I said, if you have a bunch of kids running around, you don't want to be putting a bunch of adult content out there that is unsuitable for child viewers. Right, so we understand this. We all understand this, and that's not what we mean when we're talking about censorship. But I just feel it necessary to get that out there, just to say that there's some censorship that is bad, but there's also censorship that is good and that is necessary. Right, but that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. And share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. I would be greatly appreciative of that gesture if you could do that for me. Thanks for watching, y'all. Y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.